Welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to talk about SharePoint pipelines.
Yep.
This is really cool stuff because you can do a lot of different things.
Yes, you can. Basically, the concept of pipeline is it passes one object of a command to another. So the result of the first command is going to be the input for the next command. Think of it like a train. You've got the main, engine at the very front, and you have other different cars that are hooked onto it. So basically, what you're doing, you're passing that result to the next car, and then that result's passed to the next car, and then that result's passed to the next car, and then the end result is displayed to your screen. That's pipeline in a nutshell. It's really cool stuff. So example, say you want to maybe display all the SharePoint services that are running on your computer. How would you do that? Well, there's a Windows PowerShell core command natively called get service. But if you run get service by itself, it's going to routine everything on your box. You don't want that. You just want to know just the SharePoint services that are going to be done. Well, you can use pipeline to do that. And you can use something called a where object. Where object is another command that, again, native to Windows PowerShell core. And you can basically use the pipelining with some wildcard searches to return that information. So like you say on the example here, you could say get service, pipe is the up and down symbol, and you can say where object, and then display name is going to be a method, if you will, for one of the actual columns inside of SharePoint. So I want to show all the objects where the display name is what? Well, where it actually is SharePoint, you can do a wildcard search. So to give me all the display names with SharePoint and to display that service in a nice little table. So it'll give you a table that just shows you all that information. It's really cool. And you don't even have to go to services that snap in for the services, and you can type, services.msc, and you can see all the list of services. Well, then you have to scroll through and say, all right, which ones are SharePoint?
And you can get lost.
And you can get lost if you have a lot of them, which one are running, which one are manual, which one is started, all that stuff. To run this command, then you have a nice little table, and it shows you everything you need to know.
Right. And so what I usually like to recommend to people is that after you've created a specific string of pipelined content, you save those because those are repeatable. That's also really important for auditing perspectives and whatnot. So throw those strings into a OneNote or another text file and save it somewhere. There's lots of different options. Just make sure that you're documenting what you're doing because if you have those handy, then you can copy it, rather than type it.
And to take this even one further, I know this probably is not in the context of this course, but if maybe an advanced course we talk about later on, but there's a concept called variables. So if I wanted to make it variable, I could assign a variable instead of it saying where it says SharePoint asterisk, I can make that any product name that I would want.
Right.
Set the variable to whatever product name that it's going to be, and instead of saying like SharePoint P asterisk as we have an example, you just put the variable name in there, and it will change by the fly on any product name you would want.
That's amazing.
So that's the power of PowerShell.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really fantastic. So when we come back, though, we're going to actually start talking about what parameter sets are for SharePoint. We'll see you soon.